Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Today, where we dive deep into the latest tools and technologies shaping our digital landscape. I'm your host, excited to bring you insights into something that's crucial for anyone managing web servers, security, specifically through a fantastic tool called gixy. Now let's kick things off with a quick overview of what gixy is. Gixy is an actively maintained tool designed to analyze NGINX configurations with a primary goal of preventing security misconfigurations and automating the detection of flaws. It's like having a diligent security auditor as part of your team, constantly on the lookout for vulnerabilities. So why is this important? Well, securing web applications is a huge challenge, especially with the rise of attacks exploiting configuration errors. You may not realize it, but a tiny misconfiguration can open the door to significant threats. For instance, gixy can spot issues like server-side request forgery, HTTP splitting, and even problems related to header security. These might sound technical, but they essentially relate to how your server handles requests and responses, which can be a big deal. Imagine this scenario. You think your website is secure, but a simple misstep allows attackers to manipulate requests, potentially gaining access to sensitive data. That's where tools like gixy come into play, identifying issues before they can become serious problems. You might wonder how it actually works. Gixy analyzes the NGINX configuration file, which by default is located at etc/nginx.conf. When you run gixy, it checks the configuration and highlights any potential vulnerabilities. For example, it can detect if there's a risk of HTTP splitting, a vulnerability where malicious actors can inject unintended HTTP headers due to improper handling of new lines and variables. Let's talk about installation. If you're using CentOS or RHEL, a couple of commands using yum will have you set up in no time. For other systems, you can grab gixy from PyPI and install it via pip, which is pretty straightforward. Now, let's add a little humor here. Installing security tools might feel like going to the dentist. You dread it, but at the end of the day, you know it's going to save you from future pain. After you install gixy, you just run it with your NGINX configuration path. It checks for issues and gives you a summary. For instance, if it identifies a high threat, it'll flag that for you to address. But maybe you're one of those people who feels overwhelmed with details. Here's a quick tip. If you don't want to get bogged down by every single check gixy offers, you have the option to skip certain tests. This way, you can focus on what matters the most for your specific scenario. And for our developers out there, if you're comfortable with Docker, gixy is available as a Docker image too. You can simply mount your NGINX configuration as a volume and run the analysis without cluttering your local environment. Before we wrap up, let's talk about community involvement. Gixy is open for contributions. Whether you're a developer looking to enhance its capabilities, or just someone who has suggestions, opening an issue or submitting a pull request can significantly improve the tool and help others in the community. So what are the main takeaways today? Gixy is an invaluable tool for ensuring your NGINX configurations are secure. It can help you identify potentially harmful vulnerabilities, and it's easily accessible whether you prefer a straightforward installation or using Docker. As we close, I encourage you to look into your own NGINX configurations. Could there be vulnerabilities lurking in places you might not expect? Remember, a little proactive checking today can save a lot of trouble in the future. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Tech Talk Today. If you enjoyed our conversation, don't forget to subscribe for more tech insights. Until next time, stay safe,